Hey everyone, this is Jane with Barlow Herbal, and in this video, I'm going to share some information with you on another roadside plant that many people just consider a weed, or a beautiful weed at that, but this is mullein. Now, the information I share with you is not meant to be medical advice. This is just meant to entertain and educate you. Mullein is one of those plants that many people have seen. They might be familiar with it as far as if you're a hiker or a biker, or you like to walk outside, and especially in places that are meadows and along, kind of countryside places. Mullein is something that you've probably seen a lot of. Now, mullein is in the snapdragon family, and it's what's known as a biennial, which means it has a 2-year growing life. Now, I've been talking a lot about biennials, and in fact, we just talked about teasel, also burdock. What a biennial is, this is a plant that will drop its seeds, and in the spring, during the first growing season of those seeds, it will create these low-growing flowers or low-growing plants with a bunch of leaves. And then it will go to sleep in the fall, and in the spring of the second year, then all of the energy is concentrated and shooting straight up. And a lot of these biennials grow very tall. In fact, they do what's called bolting. They'll bolt up. And then all the properties will concentrate in the leaves and the flowers, where in all of these plants, as far as mullein, burdock, and teasel, these in particular, because there's lots of biennials, but roots are where you collect them in the first year of the fall or the spring before they bolt. But with mullein, which the properties, there are concentrated medicinal properties in the root, but what it's best known for is the properties in its leaves and its flowers. Now, when mullein grows, it grows up with these big leaves that are kind of fuzzy, and it grows one typical stalk right straight up, and it's got these beautiful little yellow flowers. One of my favorite things to do with the mullein flowers is to collect them and infuse them into a tea, which is amazing. And also, I love to infuse them into an oil, because mullein is really amazing for earaches. And this is one thing that my dad used to do. In fact, one of the things that he had out as a product was a formula he called Otex, which I don't know exactly where he got that from, but this was basically mullein leaves and flowers infused into an oil, strained out, a little bit of vitamin E added for preservative, and then this would be used and dropped directly into an ear for ear infections, and super effective. Now, what mullein is best known for is for its ability to go after respiratory health. It's an expectorant, which means it can help clear mucus out of the lungs, especially in the lower part of the lungs, where mucus and different low infections in the lungs tends to linger. So mullein is something that's really popular in different herbal remedies because of its ability to go after respiratory infections. It's good for its antimicrobial properties. It's good for inflammation. It's also a powerful analgesic, which means it's good for pain. And it can not only be made into an oil or a tea, but one of my favorite ways is to put it into a tincture, because then what you've got is you've got all the power of the mullein leaves and flowers. You dry them and cure them, and then you can concentrate them into a tincture that you can use all winter long, because you want to harvest the leaves and the flowers, dry them, cure them. You can even take mullein leaves and flowers while they're fresh and growing during the year and brew them into a tea while they're still fresh. Now, if you're going to be making them into teas to use later, you want to let them dry and let all the moisture get out of it. Also, if you're going to be putting it into an oil, you want to let the flowers and the leaves dry so that the moisture from them won't turn the oil rancid. So there's some different preparation methods that I truly love. Now, mullein originally came from places in Europe and Asia, and of course, grows all over the world now. It's super easy to identify. It's super easy to forage for. And one plant will give you a ton of herbs that you can use for your home, for your friends, for your family. These plants they have these huge leaves. They're fuzzy. They're super easy to identify. And it's a super fun plant to work with in your home apothecary. Now, this is a plant that I would say would be an absolute spectacular addition to your flower garden. And so not just your medicinal herb garden, but it adds this beautiful touch to your flower garden because it's got these great big fuzzy flowers or leaves, and then it typically grows this one great big giant stalk. The flowers are yellow. They're beautiful. Now, when you're collecting the flowers to use in your different things, if you're going to, like, say you're going to use your mullein plants and you're going to pick the flowers as they grow for a daily cup of mullein tea, what you want to do is you definitely don't want to collect all of the flowers because that's where the seeds are. And you want the seeds to drop so that in the spring, you're going to get a brand new mullein plant. But the nice thing is this is a very prolific plant and you don't have to worry about it not dropping enough seeds so that you'll have a lot the next year. And what's nice is you can actually take the flowers and spread them to other parts of your yard where you want mullein to grow. A favorite time of mine to do this is in the fall. Just gather a few flowers that might be lingering on the plant, take them to places, dig up a little bit of soil, just a small amount covered up. And the nice thing is that mullein loves disturbed soil. So it's not something that you have to go, oh, it can't be disturbed. It only grows in certain places. Once you get mullein started in your yard, you will find that this will be something that you will be so happy that it comes up every year. Now, one of the things that's very fascinating about mullein is that you can use these leaves for different things like diaper rash. So you can literally take a mullein leaf, wrap it around a baby's butt, just the leaf, let it sit on there, let it just kind of press up against the skin. You can even put a diaper on over that and let it soothe this irritated skin and let it act as a protector and soak into this, like just heal the skin and a diaper rash. Now, another thing that I really love about mullein for respiratory health, which this might sound kind of interesting, but the leaves have been dried and actually smoked to help heal the lungs from people who maybe have smoked too much, which might seem counterintuitive, but here's what I would suggest. And I know people over the years who've done this. Take the mullein and actually put it like you would like sage leaves and dry it and smudge with it. And then breathe in the mullein smoke, let it go in and heal the lungs that way. So like I said, that might seem a little bit counterintuitive, but that's one of the things that I truly love about mullein. Now, we do have mullein in our beautiful lung blend. This is something that was a total given that this plant would make it in our lung tincture. So not only is there mullein, but there's lobelia, there's some peppermint, there's osha root, there's lungwort. There's some really powerful plants that work synergistically together to help go in and just nourish and support. And the goal is to heal the beautiful lung tissue. Now, the interesting thing about your lungs is we all know that every part of your body becomes new over certain periods of time. Like every 30 days, you have brand new skin. Every 7 years, you have brand new bones. And all of our body parts take certain amounts of time before they regenerate, they rejuvenate, they heal, and they become new. Now, with your lungs, it's typically, especially if you have long-standing lung issues, that maybe you just have chronic underlying issues where anytime you get a cold or a flu bug, it tends to settle in your lungs. But here's the thing, your lungs have patterns. So if you got pneumonia or bronchitis, something like that when you were a child or even as a young adult or anytime, now that you've got that, you've had that issue, even when you heal from it, when you get sick again, a lot of times your lungs holding that pattern, the infection will settle automatically in your lungs. So lungs take 6 to 8 months to completely regenerate. So that's something to keep in mind if you want to use something like mullein to go after issues in your respiratory tract. And that's just one of the most beautiful things I love about mullein. So I would love to hear what you personally love about the amazing mullein plant. Do you love it just because it adds this beautiful stalk of beauty in your flower garden? Do you love it because of how prolific it is in all of the health benefits it can help humans for? I mean, it's really amazing, all the things that it does. It's even good for hemorrhoids. So you think about all the things that these plants that God has put on this earth to help us with. You think about what they do and how amazing it is that they're here, and the knowledge is really starting to flow back in because so many people are interested. They're becoming aware that this is how humans have been taking care of ourselves for thousands and thousands of years. It's not rocket science. It's just proof is in the pudding, right? Now, all of this talk that I've been doing every Thursday, I've been putting out an herbal video for a few months now, has made me realize that I need to get out. So next spring, I'm going to get out. I'm going to go out where these plants grow. A lot of these things I have in my own yard, and I need to start actually getting out there, standing by the plants, showing you the parts of the plant you use, how you use them, how you identify them. So next spring, that is going to be a big part of me sharing wisdom and herbal knowledge with you, is actually getting out there, getting my hands on these, and showing you a little bit more of what these look like. In fact, if you jump over to my Instagram page just this week, or maybe it was over the weekend, I posted a little video of me on my walk, and I show you the plant teasel. And it's just, it's just out. It's something that I'm sure you've seen. You might not realize that it grows everywhere. And that is my plan, is I need to not just sit on a video and teach you, but I want to get out there and get myself out into the woods, by the roadsides, out into my own yard and my own garden, and just show you these plants. They are absolutely amazing to learn about, to know how to identify, know how to make into a tea, a tincture, a poultice, an oil. And it is the funnest thing that you will do and be able to share with your family. I believe moving forward, this is going to be such an important thing to know, an important skill. So I'd love to know what you think about mullein and how do you use it? Do you have a lot of really amazing richness that you've used mullein for in your family? Is this something you're brand new to and you've maybe just started growing it in your yard? And maybe you've got a friend who brewed up a cup of mullein tea and let you sip on it when you had a little bit of a respiratory infection. This is something you can just take the flowers, take the leaves, dry them, and then use them all winter long just for an enjoyable cup of delicious, delicious tea. So I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.